It's Sarah from the Support Worker Store. Today, I've got knowing me, Gabriella, the creator, the founder, the everything in between. I'm really excited to be interviewing you right now because I believe that we both started our journeys at the same time, which is probably, I think you were around 2 years.
Yes, 2 years exactly.
And the reason why I know this is because when I opened up my Instagram, you were new at the same time. So we've practically have built next to each other side by side this whole entire time, and I get to finally interview you. So I'm really excited. So I hope you don't mind if I talk about knowing me app and everything in between.
Definitely. I'm very excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me and ready to dive in whenever you are. I'm very excited to be here.
Let's do this. Making an app. Where did this come from? Because it looks very left of field, and I'm going to be judgmental and say that you're quite young.
Definitely. I am quite young. I am 24. This whole venture started when I was 22, which is crazy to even think back to that stage. But yeah, the app kind of came from lived experience of supporting a young girl in the disability space, and just personal experience of supporting her and seeing a real need and a gap in the market to just have something for families to provide that extra support and that everyday resource that they can use every single day. Yeah, I am quite young, and the venture kind of came randomly. It's not something that I ever thought I would be doing. I kind of thought, I'd leave school, and I worked in the sector for a while, and I was studying psychology at the time. Then I transitioned into occupational therapy, which I'm still currently studying at the moment part-time. And then, this kind of came out of, I don't want to say nowhere because it didn't come out of nowhere, but came as definitely as a surprise because I never thought, we would be building a tech platform, but I have to say that I've loved every single step of the way, and it has changed my life.
So, were you supporting this young lady and thought this has to exist? Like, there's got to be a better way of doing it? What was that click moment for you?
Definitely. So, kind of a bit of background. I was working in the not-for-profit space, both in a voluntary capacity and a paid capacity. And I was also a support worker on the side. So, just getting to know lots of families and lots of individuals. But there was one individual girl that I was supporting over a couple of years. We became really close. She wasn't just, a participant to me. She's a friend and still is to this day. And I was supporting her for a couple of years, and her parents had actually never been away. The two of them had never had any respite. And one day the parents just said to me, we'd love to go away together, have a weekend, and, for you two to just hang out. So would you want to move in? And as a 21-year-old at the time, I felt, the weight of the world on my shoulders because I'd never done something like this before. I'd obviously supported her every single week, but not throughout a whole weekend.
Yeah.
When I'd been supporting her for a couple of years at that time. And then I'd never obviously moved in and supported her throughout an entire weekend. And when I came to the house for the parents to just go through everything with me, there was just a multitude of information. So much information in forms of documents and photos and videos and voice recordings and things put up all over the house to just make sure that she was so well supported and make sure that I, as the support worker at the time, felt, confident and set up for success to be able to do that. And I just remember going home and speaking to my parents, and I was so, I guess, gobsmacked at how much information can go into one person throughout an entire weekend. And it was so amazing. And it was so amazing to see the time spent from her parents of creating resources. And they made me, I remember, a 20-page booklet of every single day, of every single support requirement, of everything that went into her. And the amount of people as well that were on the team was also massive. She had her OTs, her medical professionals, support workers, teachers. There were so many people on the team. And I just saw how, I guess, stretched and time poor the parents were and how much effort had gone into creating resources to really set her up for success. So I kind of went home and was thinking, surely there is something out there to keep information centralized, but also so the parent doesn't have to repeat themselves all the time. So let's just say another support worker moved in over the weekend or somebody from the team changed. I wanted to really create something where all of that information that the parents had collated could be in the one centralized location, and then it could be shared across the entire support teams. It was made accessible to everyone. And that is, I guess, where that moment clicked, and I just knew something had to exist that like that. And yeah, that's really where the idea came from and why I wanted to create Knowing Me, just as an everyday resource to make life easier for parents and support teams and streamline, I guess, that information and communication between both.
So how did so you explained it how you got there. What was the mindset of going, oh, I could turn this into an app? Where did that come from? Was that from trialing
Definitely.
and error, different things, or
Definitely. So not trialing and error. I think I was at the time just, brainstorming different ways and different paths that we could go down. And I felt like an app could be really accessible to people where as we're an app on the one hand, but we're also able to be accessed via web and the desktop. So, if you're not able to download something, you can just access us, via the web. So yeah, it was not trial and error. It was more I was thinking of ways to, just make it really accessible for everybody, that had access to a device. And yeah, that's kind of where the idea came from. Just having something on hand 24/7 to be able to access those resources and have that information always on hand.
do you feel like you had an advantage because you've been a support worker first? And when it came to developing this app, you knew which information you had to source and look for to be able to put it into the app?
Yes, definitely. Definitely from my experience of working with different individuals and different families, 100%. But I think I also had an advantage because I knew the most, and I still know to this day, the most incredible people, the most incredible community, and that is really where I built the app from. Is not for these individuals, not for these families, not for these support teams. It was actually working with these people to ensure that it was about them and what they wanted in the app. Because as a support worker at the time, I could know as much as I did know, but everybody is so individual and everybody is so different and requires such different support requirements and care and needs, and different people want different things in the app. So I think I was definitely at an advantage of being a support worker, knowing what I did know and what I do know now. But I think really having the community that we have and we're so lucky to have, and knowing the people that I do, has really helped me to shape the app and build it with them, not for them.
So when you're building with them as well, you're also studying. Were you studying? Is it OT or speech?
Yes. OT.
So knowing that you're doing as you're going through your university degree, are you modifying the app now a little bit because what you're learning being an OT or like studying to be an OT?
I'm in my third year. Oh, and
Congratulations.
definitely we're learning definitely a lot more of the practical side now. So there are definitely things that I've learned from my degree that have been implemented in the app. But
Yeah.
I think besides having a lot of advice and direction from the families and individuals we've worked with, I think a lot of also my understanding and things that we've been able to implement into the app and features and categories has also just been from my experience of working in the not-for-profit space and really working directly with participants and families. So check back in with me maybe next year when I'm nearly finished my degree, because hopefully I would have learned so much more to be able to put into the app. But yeah, definitely little bits and pieces, but I would more so say from just experience and past jobs, and yeah.
That's pretty cool because it's that really first-hand experience that gets you through it. But when developing any technology whatsoever, there's some really tough days and you're studying at the same time. How do you keep yourself in check while you're studying, developing an app and conquering this world? Is there any strategies that you have in place?
I think just being in a really good routine is really important to me. That's number one. I also just think surrounding myself with the amazing people that I do have in my life has really been amazing, and I'm very fortunate to have that and very, very lucky. I think as well, like on days where, it's tough, which we're human and we all have those days and they're all completely normal. And especially when you're starting something up, maybe it's your first time, maybe you've done this a million times, maybe you have every idea in the world of what you're doing, or maybe you don't. I always continue to remind myself on those tough days that it's a sprint. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and things take time to get there. And yeah, as I said, obviously my family, my mentors, now amazing team that I have around me really, really get me through those tough days. And just looking at the bigger picture and I guess knowing what we're doing and who we're benefiting and how we're wanting to make real change and strive for future where our platform can just make life easier for a lot of families is, I guess, what grounds me on those days and continues to help me, yeah, when I'm having those moments that feel really tough.
You must be very incredibly proud to be 24, having an app and studying. Well done.
Thank you. It's obviously, hard and my time is stretched, but I
Yeah.
absolutely love what I'm doing and
Because
I'm so
I
passionate
wasn't
about
doing
what
that
I'm
at
doing. So
24, guys.
I'm sure you were doing some amazing things when you were 24.
Or at 24, I was probably crying into a cheeseburger about a boy that broke my heart, but that's about it. Let's be
But
honest.
that's okay too. Everybody's doing different things at different stages, and that's
Yeah.
okay as well.
So anybody that is new, how would you explain the Knowing Me app for anybody that was new?
Definitely. So we're a free platform, which is really cool. But basically, we're one centralized location for real time disability care information to be stored, shared, and accessed by the entire support team and families about their loved one with a disability. So all of the support team is connected in the one place, and the family, the parent, who is usually the admin of that profile, can update and add in information about their child and then connect in with their entire support team. There's also different levels of functionality as well for the different users. So when you actually come into the app, there's the parent who's the admin of the profile, the support team. And also, if you're an individual and you want to create your own profile and have your autonomy and independence over that, then we always encourage that. And that is incredible and so amazing. And we've got so many individuals on the platform who do have their own profile and have that autonomy. And it's incredible. And the stories that we've heard have been amazing of the independence it's created for those individuals. But yeah, so going off what we are with the different levels of functionality as well. So the parent is able to add in the entire support team and tailor what each person can see. So the parent might not want, the or information that's relevant for the OT might not be so relevant for a medical professional. So you can tailor what different people can see on the app, or you can give access. It depends on obviously your preference. Everybody is different. But yeah, that's what Knowing Me is in a nutshell.
People.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So we're very lucky. We've got an amazing team who is been around for a very long time and who is continuously working on the app, which is amazing. And then we're very lucky to be privately funded at the moment, which is incredible and has allowed me to, yeah, I guess, fulfill my dreams and create this app for people. So yeah, we are a free service, which is really cool. Thank you. Definitely. So I think just from the feedback and the many, discussions that we've had with lots of families and support teams. And as I mentioned earlier, that's really how we've built the app and shaped the app has been from real experience and lived experience, not just from what I think or what somebody else in the team thinks. It's working alongside these people. So I think something that we've seen has really helped solve real world problems in the disability space has probably been the communication breakdowns between teams. So a lot of the time, families or support workers, allied health professionals, service providers, whoever's in that team often operate in silos, which a lot of teams do. And that is completely obviously okay. Everybody is so individual in how they want to operate. But I guess sometimes from our families and a lot of the feedback that we've gotten is it can often lead to misunderstandings, duplicated efforts, support that misses the mark. And so this way, everybody can really work together and the information is streamlined and everybody has access to this information. And it also minimizes, I guess, that risk and liability. As I mentioned before, this information is all in real time and it's all up to date, which is really cool. So that's a real world problem that I guess that we've seen that a lot of families have mentioned to us. And we've definitely seen that the app has really helped with us and streamlined that communication. And I guess obviously those teams are not necessarily going to work together, but having that one centralized location to have access to that up-to-date information just makes it easier for those different professionals to know exactly what's going on in real time with their client, with their participant, with their friends, whoever it might be. I guess as well, a lot of families have also experienced like high staff turnover. And obviously, many individuals unfortunately experience constant changes in support workers or other, professionals in their team, which disrupts routines and trust and progress, especially for those who rely on stability to feel safe and understood. And, when you develop that connection with someone who is a really important part of your life. So I guess having the one centralized place for all of that information to be stored, if a parent is onboarding someone new, they don't have to constantly repeat themselves. All that information is in the app. So that new support worker can have access to all that information, and they also feel set up for success and they feel confident. And then it also just ensures that the parent is not, repeating themselves again and again. It is there for the support worker for them, and also for the parent to go back to and know that that resource is there where all of their most important information about their child is. I guess obviously also with, the overwhelming system that the NDIS is, which is incredibly amazing and so fortunate to have that system. People, participants, families are often feeling confused or exhausted with so much paperwork. And a lot of people are new to this and just don't even know where to start. I guess doing your paperwork once and having the ability to upload that into the app and just have it there. And if anything changes over time, you can retrieve that, edit it, and put it back in the app. It's just also providing that one space for all of that documentation to be stored. And I guess also something else that we've really seen a lot of is the mental and emotional toll on families. Managing care can sometimes be really overwhelming and daunting for some families. And I guess the platform gives peace of mind for families that everything is there, it's accessible, it's easily able to be shared with the relevant people, and they know that they can access that information whenever need be. And, they're not spending hours trying to look in different files and different locations where that information is. It is there. And it just provides that extra bit of, support as an everyday resource for those families. So definitely. So there's very different, you can kind of tailor the app to whatever you want it to be. There's one standard, template of how it looks and interfaces, but we've really made it as accessible as it can possibly be for all different abilities. So you're able to upload documents. If you can understand something better in a photo, you can upload a photo. If you want a video type. Maybe someone who's visually impaired, you can listen to a voice recording. So there's just all different ways that information can be uploaded into the app, just making it as accessible to everyone. Definitely, 100%. So many families have been using it. We hear so much feedback of how good that functionality is for people, especially, I know a family and their son really likes a certain way that his apple is cut. And only the family knows that because they do that for him. And now they've brought on a whole team of support workers, and you can't really explain that to someone over the phone. So just having the ability to have it in a video form or a photo form shows exactly how he likes it and exactly how he should be having it, because that's his choice and that's what he wants in his meal and how he wants it to be cut up. So it's been a really cool, I guess, tool, because it can show people exactly how people want things to be done, or, how they want something to look. And yeah, it just really sets up that individual for success even more. So yeah, that's been really cool. Yeah. And it's hard, definitely. And it's so cool because everything Thank you. And it's so cool because everything is in real time. So it's not just, you're not having that risk of information being updated 2 years ago. It's in real time happening, today. Obviously that's the parents' choice to be able to update that, but seeing the parents use it as the central location for all this information to then be shared with the entire team is so cool, because it shows, if that young boy had a different need when he was 5 compared to now when he's 8, like it's really cool. It's keeping up with, their time of life, and yeah, their constant change in routines, and yeah, it's really tailored to each individual, which is really, really cool. Yeah, I think it's been amazing. That's, essentially just where it started from, my one story with that girl who's still a very dear friend to me. And it's been really amazing to hear the stories of how it's just made life easier for families, and also just streamlines everything for their support teams, and just really feel like they have a resource that they can rely on every day, which is really, really cool. I have a really, really nice story that I'll share about, like, a real breakthrough that that I saw with the platform was there was a family that, I met with a couple of months ago, and the mum and dad actually had 3 children with disability. And on the app, you're able to create multiple profiles. They're all separate, but you can have as many profiles as you want on that one app. And yeah, they had all different disabilities and needs and support requirements. So they were inundated with, so many forms, so many documents, appointments, and different people that went into the team and their lives. And her husband didn't really have much family support here in Melbourne, which was, yeah, really hard for them. And they were drowning, not only in the amount of information they were retaining and keeping track of about each of their individual children, but also the high turnover that they were experiencing with support workers, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. And after several weeks of using Knowing Me, I touched base with her again to see how they were finding the platform, and just hearing how much it had changed their life was just the reason why, we continue to do this every single day, and why I love this platform so much. It's not just a tech space for people to just store information. It's actually, a centralized location for people to rely on and come back to and share with the entire support team. So I guess just, yeah, hearing the support and how much difference it made to their lives in such a short amount of time was really incredible to hear. And yeah, just what the app is for is just to make life easier for families and provide them with an everyday resource. So that was really, really cool to hear. Yeah, so it's a really good question, and I get actually asked this a lot, but I guess just building trust with participants and families and support teams is really critical, and that really, meaningful outcomes are achieved when services are grounded, I guess, in empathy, respect, and really authentic engagement, and it's really person-centered, which I've really, really learned in the NDIS space, because a lot of things can be quite transactional. So I think just really putting the person first and, just kind of having that person-centered approach, I think, is really important, and building that trust and rapport. And also that navigating the NDIS requires, resilience, adaptability. Things are always changing, and the system can be really complex. So I think, and not a lot of, some people also don't have the right supports, or they don't have access to certain things, and that can be also really hard. But I think with having a clear focus on what the individual needs are, it's really possible, I guess, to drive that change and deliver high impact support solutions. And yeah, I guess with us, we're obviously adapting always to the new NDIS, rules and regulations and what's coming out next. Definitely. So it's a lot of word of mouth, which we've been really lucky to have, which has been amazing. But we do a lot of talks for different companies, different businesses, different organizations. And also social media has been huge, just reaching out to different organizations, associations, businesses, and really just continuing to get the word out there and presenting to these people and just showing them what the app is. We've networked with so many different people, met so many different people. It's been incredible. And from there, just, we meet someone else, and then we meet someone else. So it's been really, really cool. And that's definitely how it's helped us continue to get the word out. Yes, definitely. It's a really interesting question, because I feel like personally it's so easy to get lost in tech, and things can become really transactional. And you're not obviously having that human connection. There's not that human aspect there. You're on a phone and you're implementing information into an app. But that's why, as I mentioned earlier, we work so closely with families, individuals, and support teams as our community, because that's always been the central focus of the app. That is how we also built it, was alongside families and individuals, and really listening to what they need and what they want. And I guess having constant check-ins, which we do every couple of weeks, and always being open to that feedback of what's working well and what isn't, really helps keep it people first. And I guess also just bringing it back to why the platform was created in the first place. And I think hearing those stories of how it's changed people's lives, and, when we have people reaching out, or people, just inquiring about what the app is, and I think just remembering the impact that we are seeing and we're having on people really helps it to keep it people first, and not get so lost in the tech, and that it's just an app and you're not meeting someone face to face, or, it's a different service. So I think having those those things for us has been really important. Yes, I think everyone that's human suffers. 100%. And it's such a good question because I still definitely feel it all the time. And I think it's so normal and it's so human for everyone that steps into the founder role to feel some level of imposter syndrome. And I feel like I'll probably always feel it forever because that's just normal. But something that my mentor always said to me before knowing me was launched was just trust yourself, believe in yourself, know why you've created this product, know what you're doing, and that will keep driving you forward and just keep you grounded in knowing that you can do it. And even at times where you feel like, I can't do this or I'm not smart enough or I don't know how to do this or, you feel quite small in a room or in a situation or in a conversation, just I think backing yourself and trusting yourself and knowing that everybody starts from scratch and everybody starts somewhere. And yeah, I think that's I still definitely will feel my imposter syndrome. Sometimes it'll always creep into my head, but I think remembering that and feeling grounded in that is what helps me to, I guess, just ease that voice that sometimes comes into your head. Definitely. So I've been very lucky enough that I have been surrounded by lots of people in the sector, lots of really incredible people in the sector actually for the last 7 years. And as I mentioned, I also work for a non-for-profit. So lots of people through that organization I had met, which has been amazing. And slowly they became my mentors, which I'm very, very grateful to have. And just meeting, knowing different parents and then them knowing other people who are involved in the sector and just reaching out to those people and I guess just getting in touch and not having any expectation on how that meeting's going to go or where it's going to take you. But yeah, from having people in my past that I've known have become really, really amazing mentors and just meeting new people and people who believe in the product and the platform have become amazing mentors. So yeah, that I've been really lucky to continue to build a team of those people and yeah, I'm very grateful for that. I guess to just be accessed and used by so many more families that will benefit from the platform is just, a dream. And I would love to see that continue to grow in the next 12 months. We're also, looking at corporate partnerships with different organizations and associations and businesses. So to continue growing that in the hope for more people to be able to utilize the platform and just continue to improve the platform for everyone that's using it. I guess yeah, is definitely in the wish list for the next 12 months, alongside with lots of other things that are top secret. I'm joking. Yeah, so some new features, hush hush, because we haven't announced those yet. But one feature that we actually just launched, which I will touch on, that I absolutely love, is a chat function which we've had. So you can have individual chats, group chats, and it's just um, yeah, it's just extending that individualized and centralized approach to the platform and just keeping everything in the one location. So having that function in there, has been amazing and a feature that we've loved and we've gotten such a good response from. Definitely. Definitely. I guess it can really be used for anything, and I guess just in whatever way the admin and the team in the profile wants to use it. So definitely if there's a change in medication or in a behavior or routine, pop that on there. If you just, stuck in an emergency or something's gone wrong and you really need to ask the parent something and you can't find the number, it's just through there. You can directly message them. Everything's in the app. So it just takes that one less step off. And yeah, it just keeps everything centralized and yeah, people can, I guess, use it for whatever means they're wanting to, which is really cool.